Okay, welcome everybody. Let's talk about chess for 1200s. In this game, we're going to talk about how to use sacrifice. And this is a real game, by the way, that I just finished. How to use sacrifice to win a game. Specifically, in this case, to checkmate the opponent. Now, sometimes you can use sacrifice to make your opponent burn a lot of time and have to think real hard, and then they lose the game because they get flagged, or in other words, they run out of time, okay? So I'm black, my opponent's white. I'm down here, I'm chessboard. This is David Torok, however you pronounce this, okay? All right. So let's get started. Where's my opponent from? My opponent is from Colombia, and I'm obviously from the United States. So white goes first. Let's see what happens. He does e4, and I do d6. So I play a lot of queens openings, both white, whether I'm playing white or black. In the old days, I played a lot of king's pawn, but those openings seem to be so dry, and I'm like, okay, enough of that. So I'll do a lot of queens openings. Okay, he does knight f3. I'll respond with pawn to e5. And this is known as, let me get yellow here. Up here you see the Philidor defense. So that's when this is played, you get this king's opening, and black does this kind of queen opening. This is the Philidor defense, okay? So that's what we're playing. Okay, let's move on. He does d3. I do knight to f6. Chooses g6. I'm going knight to c6. So far, all pretty straightforward stuff. The computer says it's dead even. If you want to know where the score is, what the computer thinks, let me get black here. You'll see up here it says 0.03. So white has basically a very small advantage. If black was winning, it'd be down here. You would see a score down here in this little area. Okay, so right now, basically, the game is even. 0.3 doesn't mean much of anything. It's less than one pawn. Okay, so I'm going to go forward. He chooses to do C3. Computer doesn't really particularly like that move very much. Okay. Bishop to E6. Computer doesn't like my move very much, but it doesn't matter. This is all just kind of back and forth fractional pawn stuff. Doesn't really matter. Okay, bishop to G2, queen to D7, and the reason why I'm doing this, getting my queen to D7, because I'm already beginning to think, as black, I'm going to castle long, right? But you're going to see I delay this. I'm waiting to see what white's going to do. Really important. Okay, and he castles right away. I'm like, see, so I'll get my queen up here. Actually, it was going to pay dividends because I'm going to castle long, but I'm going to delay it. Right now, if we just stop right here for a moment, I mean, his king is snug in a bug back here, right? Look at that. King is all protected. Pawns, knight, bishop, rook is there. I mean, it's snug in a bug, right? It's all protected back here. But is it? Okay. I do bishop to E7. He brings over his rook. And I'm on the prowl. I'm immediately saying, okay. Right now the computer thinks that white actually has an advantage here. About 0.7-ish of an advantage. So a small advantage, but it's a mounting advantage for white a little bit. Okay. He ignores my H5 pawn, says I don't care. I'm going to do the knight move. Knight moves. Okay. I'm saying, well, now I finally castle long. Okay, and the computer's like, look at the computer evaluating this. First, it was like, oh, that was bad. Now it's good. Now it's bad. It's yeah. It thinks white has a big advantage here. Look at this. It thinks white is up 1.4. It's probably right. Right? The computer's probably white. I'm probably yes. The computer's white. Computer's probably right. Unless you're a really high-rated grandmaster that can outdo this. Probably like, I don't know what this is. Stockfish something. Probably analysis going on in the background. Okay. But for 1200 players, I've talked about this before in my last video, can a white, or can anybody at 1200 through 1300, take advantage of a weakness, right? Can they spot this 1.4 advantage that white has? You know, probably not. Some people can, some people can't. So I'm going to march on. Okay, I'm sorry, it's his move. He goes there. Big mistake. Computer hates his move. Not big mistake, but he lost his advantage. Okay, now I'm swinging the rook. Computer's giving it back to white. I don't really care. He's launching his kingside attack on me. Whoops, sorry about that. Hit the microphone. He's launching his kingside attack on me, right? That's what this move is. He's like, oh man. Once he saw my rook come over here, he got like, whoa, what the heck? I better do something. All right, I'm ignoring it. I'm not ignoring, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna defend. Make sure he can't get an easy cheap shot on my knight. Goes there. Double push the pawn. Which that was the reason why I brought my rook over here, so I could protect this pawn, so the knight can't just take it. Okay. Plus, I'm just setting up a huge attack on the king side. He takes. I take back. He blunders. I don't know what this is. This is just massive blunder. Right. I don't know. Maybe he thought that he had this attack, but his knight's in the way. Maybe he thought, oh, I'll just do a discovery attack. It's not going to work. So he takes. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll take your knight. Sure enough, he's going to move his knight, right? Because now, look, he's trying to be slick. You know, the attack. But I'm like, all right, come on. If the knight wasn't there in the first place, then of course I would have been me making the blunder. But he made a blunder. I paused here for just a little bit to see the best move. Like I thought about this for a little while. You'll notice my time down here is 2:35. So it took me a good 16 seconds to make this move. I wasn't really sure what square was the best square to put the rook on. I didn't want to go here because bishop can just easily attack, or here. I didn't want to give him tempo. I didn't like this square for the same reasons. Couple pawn pushes, the queen's eyeballing it, the bishop could get in here and eyeball it. I just chose to go here. Okay, with thoughts of eventually coming over here like this, okay? All right, let's see what he does. He pushes his pawn, but I'm just gonna drop my knight back. And I was almost sure it was gonna be pawn take pawn. Okay, but he doesn't do it, he just pushes his pawn. Yeah, not a good move. You know, look at the score down here. I'm up 5.1. So this was a bad move. He should have taken. Most likely is what he should have done. Okay. I'm like, this is just fine by me. I push my pawn to h4. He pushes another pawn. Okay, not much of improvement for him. I don't know what this pawn move is. He needed to line up his rooks, his queen, get his queen involved. He needed to start getting aggressive here. Okay, and I was delaying bishop take knight. I was going to wait as long as possible because that is an issue, this knight being where it is. It's a really good outposted knight, but he's not using his other pieces in cooperation with this knight. Me, on the other hand, I've got queen, bishop, knight, rook, and another rook, all ready to just dominate this king. He's got everything over here on this side of the board except for this bishop. So he's in trouble already, he just doesn't know it. Okay, so it's my move, I take. He takes back. I move the knight up. Okay. Because I realize I can't just put my rook over here and come up here and checkmate him because the bishop's got it covered. I'm going to need a different way to go about doing this. The knight's going to help me out. The knight's going to come up into here and probably help out. Or at least I have this square to attack. I've got this square, which has got a fork going on with the queen and the bishop. You know, I know the bishop here's covering it. This knight's covering it, but there's other things that may transpire. So this is a pretty decent outpost for the moment. Okay, he brings his knight back, which right away tells me that he wants to bring his knight here. So I'm like, okay, great. We're going to exchange knights. I'm going to bring my knight over here. Let's see what he did. Let's see. I decide to line up the rooks. Sure enough, he brings his knight in there. I'm like, great, we're going to exchange knights. Now, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because it's going to help me to put plant my rook up here. And then guess what? I'm going to use my bishop to come in here and take care of this bishop. Okay, let's see how it all unfolds. Remember, this video is about 1200s, you know, how do we use sacrifice to get to the king? So he takes, I take back. He goes there. I'm like, this ain't over. Bishop, he's in big trouble. I take back. I bring the other rook forward. This is important. It's important. This move's important to go this way with this rook, not this way. We want to bring the trouble to the king, not move it away from the king. Follow me? Because we're going to get this queen right here involved and really, really soon. Okay. So take, and he tries to run for it, but check. Okay. He goes here. He goes to this square. Now, what's the best move? This is the sacrifice part. What's the best move for black? This puts the game away. Now, you know, this move looks really obvious, right? Bishop here is check. I mean, it's probably checkmate unless he tries to block with the pawn, which then it would just be bishop takes pawn, and it's still checkmate probably right there, if I'm calculating right. Yeah, because he couldn't stay on this diagonal. He couldn't drop back to this square because of the queen. So bishop to there is actually a really good move. That's one way to win this game. One way to win the game is like that. Okay, and the computer even says, hey, it's mate in one. Because the only move he's got is that, and then it's checkmate. So that's one way to win the game. But I chose to do a different way. Because I chose to be cool. I chose to be the cool kid on the block. So what do you think I did? Anybody guess? How did I sacrifice here to win this game? You guessed it. If those of you that guessed right, it's going to be rook takes pawn. Smack daddy. Now it's, you know, it may not be the cleanest checkmate in the world, but, you know, we're talking sacrifice here. Sometimes you just got to do it. All right. He's got no place to go, right? The king can't come here because of the queen, and the pawn's got this square covered. He can't retreat back to here. Or no, actually, he could retreat back to there, and then I would have to use the bishop anyway. Okay, so this isn't a... Yeah, you can see down here it says checkmate in 2, so this is going to be mate anyway. Okay. But I guess the point being here, it's going to be really hard for white not to take back, right? Super hard. I mean, the right move is to move back there, not that it would make him any difference. Because in bishop, we just do the same thing with the bishop and checkmate him. Okay, but I was basically sacrificing and taunt. I don't want to say taunting, the wrong word. I was enticing him, okay, to take this pawn, and he does. And now what? How do you put it away? How do you put this away? What's the final blow? Because look, this whole, it's my move. His queen's under attack, right? That's one thing. So, but I know that whatever move I make next, right at the moment, the king can't go to this square or this square or this square because the rook's got it covered. He can't go here because of this killer pawn. We already talked about why he can't go here, right? Because of the pawn and the queen. Now, obviously, he can't go here because of this queen. Right, so what's he going to do? I mean, what's my killer move? How do I put this away? Should be pretty obvious, right? Bam, checkmate. Right, so the sacrifice enticed him to take, and then just take back with the queen. We got a checkmate. Right? How cool is that, guys? Sacrificing the rook to put it away. Again, you know, black could have done, let's go back one, sorry. Black could have ignored this and come here, but it would have been the same thing. And then this. Okay, sorry. He would have to block, I guess, this way, yeah. And then we've got, well, let's see, what is the checkmate? Yeah, it's, this way is check. Okay, he can't go there, he can't go there, so he's got to go here. He can't take, obviously, because you can't, but, so he's got to come back to here. And now we got checkmate. So that would be the other way to checkmate. But like I said, I chose to be the cool kid on the block and do the sacrifice, enticing him to take. he did, and we just did a quicker route to checkmate because he could, he had a hard time at this point. Can't blame him for that. It's pretty hard to get out of this. So there you go. That is, an example of how we use sacrifice to get a checkmate. Pretty cool stuff, right? I enjoyed the game. White was a little bit late getting to this side of the board. And no, I don't win all my games. I've been exactly in this similar position and got crushed. But I like to try different things, and even if I lose, sometimes that's a learning experience. So this was a pretty good game. Hope you all enjoyed the video. This is Chess for 1200s, sacrificing to win a game.